Am I the asshole for not responding when someone doesn't use my actual name? My 16 male name is Nico and it's not short for anything. On my birth certificate it says Nico middle name last name. This is something a few people can't understand and some people call me Nicholas. Even teachers who see me on the class list as Nico and not Nicholas. I'm a foster kid. I've been in the system since I was 2. My mom is the only bio family I know but she's not able to take care of me. I see her twice a year through court-ordered visits. But nobody in her family and I don't have anything to do with my paternal side. I've been with my current foster family for 3 years and I'm really happy with my foster parents and foster siblings. My foster parents actually want to help the kids they foster and their kids are cool with their parents fostering and don't bully me or others for stealing their families. So I hope I get to stay until I age out of the system. My only problem is some of their extended family are snobs and they don't like calling me Nico. So they call me Nicholas even after being corrected a million times. My foster parents have explained that my name is actually Nico, not Nicholas. But the reply is always, but Nico is short for Nicholas. A couple of the extended family have encouraged me to change my name because Nicholas sounds much more professional for an adult male, which I will be soon. I was like no thanks. My foster parents told me I should ignore whenever someone calls me Nicholas now. Unless they're new and just assume. But I can ignore their family members who do it. So that's what I did. I've ignored them a handful of times now and it bothers them so much. Yesterday it happened twice because one kept trying to call Nicholas over and I just didn't go. The other asked Nicholas to pass the potatoes at dinner and I kept eating and didn't pass anything. I was then called out for ignoring them and my foster parents said nobody knew who they were talking to because there was no Nicholas at the table. One of my foster sisters said she assumed it was her, Nicole, and they got confused and that's why she passed it instead. I was told I should be more open to the wisdom others offer with name suggestions and stop being rude by ignoring people. Even though my foster parents back me up again. It made me feel away because this really is my best foster experience and I don't want to piss off people in my foster family. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole. I'm glad your foster parents have your back. What they told you to do is exactly what I had to do for years. My last name, maiden name, was a very common first name as well. Lots of people would call me by my last name. I would ignore them until they called me either Ms. last name or just by my first name. I guess since I did it as an adult in work settings, I didn't get shit for it like your relatives are doing, but the message was finally received and respected. Not the asshole, keep ignoring them when they call you Nicholas. However, I would add something, think up a different name for all of the people who keep calling you Nicholas. For example, Aunt Elizabeth is now Aunt Betty. Uncle Thomas is now Uncle Tommy. Even better if you can make it longer instead of shorter, like for example Grandma Rose is now Grandma Rosemary. If they get angry with you, just say, I think these names are much better and easier to say, they will help you in life. You should take advice from someone who is better up to date with modern society. Not the asshole. Your foster parents sound like winners. Listen to them and make sure they are in the loop. As long as you are happy and they are happy, who gives a rat's patoot about what extended family think? The other thing you might consider is getting the offender's name wrong when you reply. Nicholas, would you pass the potatoes? You bet, Mrs. Farnsworth Wigington. Here you go. Nicholas, that's not my name. Oh, I thought we were all making up new names for each other. I realize the dynamics of being a foster child can be unique and difficult. Again, as long as your foster parents are good, you are going to be fine. Not the asshole. Nico is a perfectly fine complete name, meaning, victory. I hope you will victorious in your battle to get others to use your name properly. Not the asshole. It is your name and people should respect that. It must be hard being in foster care and then having to deal with ignorant relatives. Not the asshole. However, if you wanted to be petty, you could change their name slightly. Am I the asshole for telling my husband I'm done with his help around the house? My husband, 34M, and I, 31F, have been together for 8 years and married for 5. We both work full-time, so we've always split household chores. But here's the thing. His version of helping is a nightmare. For example, I'll ask him to help with laundry. He'll agree, but instead of sorting things like delicates or checking pockets, he just throws everything into the washer on one setting. This has ruined clothes and stained things beyond repair. Same thing happens in the kitchen. He helps by making a mess while cooking, but he leaves everything piled up in the sink, and somehow manages to dirty every dish and pan. I've tried teaching him, suggesting easier ways, even leaving little checklists, but he always says he knows what he's doing, and dismisses my advice. I end up spending double the time either fixing what he did or doing things over from scratch. And whenever I bring it up, he says he's trying his best, or accuses me of being too picky and controlling. This came to a head recently when he helped me by cleaning up our living room right before my friends came over. I thought he'd done a great job, until one of my friends found my birth control pills in the junk drawer because he decided to tidy by throwing everything into random places. I was embarrassed, but when I told him, he laughed it off. So, last night I told him I'm done with his help, and would rather just do everything myself if he's not willing to do things properly. He got upset, saying he's just trying to make things easier for me and now I'm criticizing him for helping. Now he's barely speaking to me, and I'm feeling conflicted. Am I the asshole for telling my husband to stop helping if he can't do things right? Don't let him off so easily. Sit down and discuss every aspect of a chore in writing if necessary so there can be no misunderstanding of what's expected, or, I'm only trying to help, whining. Weaponized incompetence is a great way of getting out of work. Don't fall for the purpose of it, you do it so badly so I'll do everything, crap. YTA to yourself if you let him get away with it. Not the asshole. However, you did exactly what he wanted. His strategy was weaponized incompetence. He intentionally did a bad job, until you stopped asking him to help do his part as a member of your household. That does not sound like a man who can find your clitoris. You are the asshole to yourself if you allow yourself to be played like this. This was exactly what he was aiming for and you shouldn't let him away with such blatant disrespect and manipulation. Alright, looks like I am not overreacting after all. I'll talk to him today and will stop doing his part of chores. I won't care anymore. Tell him since his help just results in more work, he can pay for a cleaner. Am I the asshole for walking to my dad's house instead of spending the day with my mom's female partner? Throwaway. When I, 15M, was 13, my mother, a bisexual woman, cheated on my dad with one of her female friends from college she reconnected with. My parents divorced, and my mom married her partner. I'm an only child and I live with my mom during the week. We're quite close. Her partner makes a lot of money. So much money that my mom thinks it doesn't make sense for her to work and she's a stay-at-home mom. My relationship with my mom's partner is tense. At first, I didn't mind her. Since my mom doesn't work, her partner provides for her. As long as she provided for my mom and made her happy, I didn't care. My mom provides for me with child support money from my dad. Issues started quickly arising when my mom's partner started intruding on my life. She tried to look through my laptop but couldn't crack my password and demanded I open it for her. I refused. There was a massive argument and my mom took my side, which caused tension between my mom and her partner. Next, she started judging me for my eating habits and weight. She started making comments about how I'm looking chubbier than usual and should stop eating so much fast food. I literally eat what my mom cooks at home. She also demands, since it's her house, I always keep my room clean and organized. I have no issue with this, she is right. What bugs me is that she will come into my room at like 6 a.m. and will yell at me while I'm asleep to start cleaning. All this bullshit results in a lot of daily arguments between us. I've started going to my dad's after school instead. This causes my mom to freak out and beg me to go home to her. I hate doing that, but I love my mom and do it for her. A few days ago, my mom sat me down with her partner and asked both of us if we could figure out a way to get along. A couple hours of discussion and there was an agreement to try to be more respectful. Despite this, a lot of the same behavior keeps going on. And today, on the birthday of my mom's partner, my mom asked if I was going to celebrate with them. I thought about it and said no. My mom told me I don't have a choice since her partner provides for her. We both owe her basic decency and respect. She told me to get ready and dress nicely since we were going out to eat. I had a fuck this moment, so when my mom went to shower I decided to leave the house and walk to my dad's place. My mom freaks the fuck out and calls me. I don't pick up, so she calls my dad and he tells her where I am. There is a huge argument between the two and at the end of it my dad congratulated me on standing up to my mom and her partner despite being such a jerk to them. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You're a kid and I was you once. I was blamed for not getting along with my dad's girlfriend and how it was all my fault. It's not my fault and it's not yours either. Also, you have a right to privacy. Her going through your laptop is insane behavior and very weird. Not the asshole. Your mother's partner doesn't treat you with decency or respect, from the sounds of it, ever. She oversteps boundaries all the time despite not actually being your parent. Your mother didn't treat you with decency or respect when she committed adultery, tore you away from your stable family, and turned your childhood upside down. You clearly still resent this. You need to talk about it. You and your mother. First, without her partner present if necessary. She needs to be prepared to lead into you, so you work this out, parent to child. If she isn't prepared to do that, she's a pretty massive asshole. Not the asshole. I'm sorry, but your mom doesn't seem like a great person. From your story, it sounds like she just wants to live a cozy life, with very little regard for the people around her. She's a cheater. She's not backing up her child. Mind yourself. Not the asshole. It's understandable that you'd want to avoid spending time with someone who makes you uncomfortable, especially when they're crossing boundaries like that. Walking to your dad's place seems like a way for you to take control of your own space and feelings. It's great that you have a good relationship with your dad and can go to him when things get overwhelming at home. And honestly, standing up for yourself is super important, even if it feels awkward in the moment. Your feelings matter too. I hope things start to improve between you and your mom's partner, but don't feel bad for putting yourself first sometimes. You're 15, you're old enough for the courts to take your word into account. If your dad is okay with it, ask him to go back to court and request the majority custody and for you to stay with him. Your mom will clearly keep choosing the partner in small ways until they become big ones. This won't end. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your mother's partner shows blatant disrespect towards you. There is no reason for them to be commenting on your weight, intruding on your personal life, etc. If your mother's partner wants your respect, then they need to act like an adult and communicate with you instead of yelling. Also, your mother should not be allowing her partner to treat you like this. I can tell you love your mother deeply, but she is putting her partner ahead of her own son. She seems to be blinded by her partner and should not be letting these things slide even if you are 15. You deserve peace in your own home, and you should honestly consider having a conversation with your mother about things, and if there is no change, moving in with your father if possible. Am I the asshole for secretly recording my mom yelling at me and showing her the video? So I, 20F, still live with my mom because I'm going to college and working part-time to save up for my own place. My mom, 50F, has a short temper, and when her and my dad separated in 2010, that's when she started yelling at me a lot. She has always gotten mad and yelled at me over the littlest things. This has caused me to have anxiety around her. I love my mom and I know deep down she's a good person, but she has to learn to control her temper. This afternoon, she was screaming at me because I had my window open while she had the AC on, but I didn't even know she turned the AC on, and I only had my window open for 10 minutes to let out the smoke from my candle. While she was screaming at me, I decided to secretly record her so I could show her how horrible she speaks to me when she's mad. I showed her the video 10 minutes ago and she started crying. I feel really bad about this. I didn't mean to make her upset, but I just want her to stop yelling all the time, and I was hoping the video could make her realize how bad the yelling is. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. She likely cried because she realized how awful she is treating you and, hopefully, feels bad. Don't feel guilty, it was likely the wake-up call she needed. I hope she is able to work on her temper and your relationship strengthens, since you said you know she's a good person deep down and you love her. I hope you are feeling better and can somehow talk this out. She should seek therapy or anger management for help. It is not normal to scream at people over small things often. Adults should treat other adults with respect, even if you are her child. She would likely lose it if you spoke to her that way, or a stranger started to scream at her for small mistakes. Not the asshole. If seeing herself in the video made her cry, then she should thank you for bringing it to her attention so she can change and not continue doing things that are so horrible it makes her cry. Not the asshole. She needed to see it. I hope it changes her ways. Not the asshole. Apparently this is what it takes for mom to realize how lousy her behavior is and how detrimental it has been for you. Sometimes, looking in the mirror is hard, but necessary. Not the asshole. Your mom needed to see that video. I know it's really hard when you love your mom and your mom loves you to do something like this, but what you did is okay and a healthy way to communicate in this situation, unlike your mother's behavior. You were not only very smart and brave to do this, but I myself may use this if I work up the courage to do so. Not the asshole. Good idea. I hope your mother learns something about she speaks to you. I'm glad she cried, she should.